Hello, I'm Martin Hall, Golf Digest Top 50 teacher, Golf Magazine Top 100 teacher, and I'm proud to say I was a PGA Teacher of the Year. Now, what do Jack Nicklaus, Tom Watson, Ernie Els and Retief Goosen all have in common? Well, they've all won a US Open, that's true. They also have something else in common, which is why I'm here today. Now, I've had the chance to talk to 3 of those 4, and I've watched the 4th one, studied him very closely on video. They all swing in a manner that they keep their head pretty still through the most part of the swing. Jack Nicklaus, I worked for Jack for 7 years. Jack thought that the greatest thing Jack Grout ever did for him was when he was a youngster. Mr. Grout would stand here, he would grab Jack's hair, and he would make Jack swing up and down without letting his head move all over the place. To this very day, Jack considers that the most important fundamental in the game of golf. Tom Watson, obviously another superstar. Had a chance to spend time with Tom in Colorado, and it was a day not unlike today actually, where the shadow was long, and Tom said, "Oh, good, I can turn and face my shadow, and I can check if my head is moving." Tom said actually his favorite way to practice was when the shadow was here, when he was hitting that way, and he could check for any movement. Ernie Els, 2 US Opens, what a player. Watched him many times, watched him up close actually not so very long ago playing around Seminole. They call him the Big Easy. When you stand by the ball, it looks like the Big Powerful, not the Big Easy. How does he do that? Well, he does keep his head very still when he swings. I asked him about that. He said, well, when he started playing golf, about 14, he used to practice in his back garden. But he only had a smallish back garden. He only had about 40 yards to hit it in, so he didn't use a real golf ball. He actually used a sponge ball, a black sponge ball, he told me. And he said what he found out was it didn't matter whether he absolutely thrashed and lunged at it, or whether he swung easily with a steady center, the sponge ball went about the same distance. Now, I think that was extremely influential in Ernie Els building a golf swing with a very steady head. I'm not going to call it a center because it's not quite the center of the swing. It's not quite a wagon wheel and the head's the center, but good players keep the head very still. So Ernie Els took the lunge out of his swing by keeping his upper body doing the right thing. And finally, of course, the other great South African, Retief Goosen. Now, my understanding is, I haven't asked Retief this, but my understanding is at a young age, his father built for him a device that helped him keep his head still. And surely you can see that when you watch Retief swing. I mean, my goodness, you talk about someone staying steady as they swing. He does it as well as anybody has ever done it. So we've got 4 US Opens, 4 US Open winners, great looking golf swings. They all keep the head steady. Now, wouldn't it be nice if there was a device on the market that would help you keep your head still in the proper way? I'm not talking about keep the head down here. That would be quite ridiculous. You just made a hole-in-one, now I've got to tell you about it. No, not talking about that. I'm talking about keeping the head steady through the most part of the swing. Do we have a device? Well, now we do. We have a great device called the Pro Head. My friend Bob Doyle came up with this. I think it's absolutely super. It's helped me with my game. It's helped a lot of my juniors. It's helped a lot of people stop having what I call an earthquake just about the time they're hitting the ball, and I'm going to show you how to use it. Well, here we are, and here it is, the Pro Head Trainer. As you can see, it doesn't take up a lot of space, either at home or on the range, and in fact, if you did want one at home, there is a wall unit, recommended if you're up there in the frozen tundra during the winter. Very simple to use. I've actually preset this. This white tape here is going to be my address height. Not my standing height, my address height, my posture height. So all I do is lift this arm, pop it in this hole here. There are, in fact, numerous positions here that you can set the arm in. So in fact, whether you're dealing with 7-year-olds or giants who are 6'7", in fact this angle change is very easy to get the right height. So there we have it. and I have my wall, as perhaps I would call it, the hall wall some people call it. So when I take my setup, I very lightly have my forehead, perhaps not my forehead, the top of my head, very lightly touching the wall. Now, the goal is, through most of my golf swing, I want to keep my head lightly touching the wall. So, a Jack Nicklaus, a Tom Watson, an Ernie Els, or a Tief Goosen would do something like this. They're going to turn and swing up. The club's going to go up a fairly good plane. They're going to start the downswing with the lower body. They're going to have the lower body turning out of the way. They're going to clip the ball. They're going to stay in that sort of angle to about here, and then they straighten up. Now make no mistake, this is not a product that says you should keep your head down to be a good player. It's not a product that says you should stay still as you swing. It's a product that's teaching you to actually move pretty much everything other than your head. Is it possible someone could do this? Head stays still, and so does pretty much everything else. Yes, it is possible, but I wouldn't want you to do that. Now, how could I make sure you didn't do that? Well, I'd give you the painful pivot drill. I'd make you, as I saw Jack Nicklaus do thousands of times, put a club behind your elbows, grab your hips, bend forwards, top of the head against the bar here. See how much of your golf swing can you keep your head touching the wall. That would be great practice just to learn the proper pivot. I want you to know that as your head stays touching the wall, your left shoulder is going to go down somewhat. Even your left hip goes down somewhat. As you start the forward swing, the hips are leading the shoulders. Now the left hip's going from down to going up. As you turn, the top part of the body is bending back. So I didn't keep anything constant in terms of spine angle there. And as I do that, done properly, I should hit some rather nice golf shots. The problems that occur when you do start bobbing around, when you have that earthquake at command center. These are the two biggest problems you're going to be dealing with, either as a player or as a teacher. Anytime you are lifting up or swaying away from this wall on the backswing, solid contact just got a lot more difficult. Did it get impossible? No, because maybe you're just a good enough cat to get right back to touch that wall at the right spot at just the right time, but unlightly. So if you're moving away from it here, one of the thoughts you might use to keep your head against the pro head is to feel like your left shoulder goes down a bit. I can't tell you how wrong I think it is that people tell you you should turn level. Now I'm glad to say, because of biomechanics, now we know that's just not true. You don't turn level. There's some side bending, there's some rotation, and there's a bit of back bending going on as you swing. If you happen to make a good backswing, at least with regard to the pro head trainer, and you stand up on the downswing, what can you expect? Well, whenever you get too upright with the upper body, the shoulder plane becomes too flat, and then you're going to hit balls way off to the left, or at the very least swing out to in. So we actually see that with a lot of really club players, that the upper body straightens up, the shoulder plane's too flat, and they sort of chicken wing over there and nothing very good happens. The absolute opposite of that, what you're more likely to see with young players, is actually juniors. They will have the head go backwards and down. As the head goes backwards and down, what's going to happen now is this tilt becomes too great, the right shoulder gets too low, and I think you should follow me on this. If right shoulder too high will make you pull it, then I think you should understand right shoulder too low will make you push it. So people who go down too much and back are very likely to swing too much out to the right and push it. So coming away from it will make you pull it very lightly. Going this way will make you push it very lightly. And too much movement in general, too much bobbing and weaving, reduces the speed you get out to the club head. So what do I wish? Well, I actually wish I'd had this about 30 years ago when I was trying to play for a living, because I would have been a much better player. Me, I was a lifter. I was the old Mae West. Come up and see me. I was a real lifter. And I actually have a better golf swing now than I did when I was playing for a living. So here we go. Practice little waggle there. Going to try and keep my upper body reasonably in place. Oh, I wish they were all like that. You and I are going to be spending a bit more time together, I can assure you. This is a wonderful product. It's a wonderful product for juniors because it stops them having the bobblehead. It's a great product for seniors. It sort of gets them in a much better position at the top rather than this lifter. In fact, it's a wonderful product across the board. I really encourage you to have a really good close look at this. I know if you buy one, if you use it, I know you're going to play better. The Pro Head really works. I've been asked on more than one occasion, does the Pro Head work well with the short game? Yes, it certainly does. I'm reminded of Ken Ventura's great tip for pitching, where he would say to people, after you've hit the ball, lay your head on a pillow. Beautiful for hitting high soft shots. Well, now you really can do that, because you can just put the top of your head against the wall, you can swing back, swing through, you can turn your head, and you can lay it on Ken Ventura's pillow. Equally good with putting. As a teaching professional, I know far too many people have a stroke in which there's too much movement. Well, you can certainly learn to swing without the head moving too much when you putt. Now, the Pro Head comes with an additional attachment. It's a cap, and I really recommend for many of the short game shots that don't have a full finish, that you insert the cap here. That's going to help you stay steady. So there you have the Pro Head. Wonderful for long game, wonderful for short game, wonderful for yours truly. On the assumption that you want to swing the club towards your target when you hit the ball, the amount of forward bend you have when you set up and you must keep during your swing is absolutely vital. Now, how much forward bend should you have? Hey, picture this for me. Picture a clock right here. Let's say 12 o'clock. I'm going to say a good amount to bend forwards is from about 12 to about 1:30, somewhere between 30 and 45 degrees. So if you want to get in the right posture, picture a clock. Here's 12 o'clock. Get yourself bent forwards to about 1:15, 1:30. That's going to give you a very good chance. If you keep that forward bend during your swing, that's going to give you a very good chance of swinging in the right direction. That one nearly went in. If 1:30 is the correct amount of forward bend, what happens if you bend to 2 o'clock, 2:30? What happens if you get in the wrong time zone, either in your setup or in your swing? Well, here's what happens. If you're either bent forwards too much in your setup, or you might start at 1:30 and you get too bent forwards in your downswing, your right shoulder will be too low in the hitting area and your ball will probably start to the right because it's going to make you swing to the right. So getting the right amount of forward bend, keeping the right amount of forward bend through the swing is vital. The Pro Head will help you with that. So 1:30 is 1:30, 1:15 is about the right amount of forward bend. Well, what happens if you're too straight? If you're too close to 12 o'clock, or you get too close to 12 o'clock posture in your downswing? Well, then what's going to happen is your right shoulder will come round too high And when your right shoulder has too much out and not enough down, then your club will swing to the left. And you're going to either hit pulls or you're going to hit cuts. See this one a lot. Now, if you use the Pro head, you're going to get yourself in the right posture, and you're going to keep in the right posture through the swing. Gives you your best chance of starting that ball in the right direction.
One of the nice features of the Pro Head Trainer is that it assembles in 10 minutes and can disassemble in a matter of a minute or two for easy transport anywhere you want to go. Simply take out one bolt, one nut. It breaks down into two sections, fits in the back seat of any car, and away you go.